Olivia Hart kept her eyes on the floor as she pushed her cleaning cart through the grand hallway of the Sterling Crown Hotel. The hotel was one of the most expensive places in New York. Rich people came from all over the world to stay there. The floors shined like mirrors. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Everything looked perfect. Everything except Olivia. At least, that was what people often made her feel. She was 28 years old and carried more weight than most women in the fashion magazines displayed in the hotel lobby. She usually wore loose clothes to hide her curves. She tied her brown hair into a simple ponytail and tried her best not to attract attention. Unfortunately, attention always seemed to find her. "Move faster, Olivia." The sharp voice belonged to her supervisor, Karen Mills. Karen crossed her arms and looked Olivia up and down with obvious disgust. "The charity gala starts in 2 hours. Do you want the guests to think we hire lazy people?" Olivia lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm doing my best." Karen laughed. "Maybe if you spent less time eating and more time working, you'd move faster." Several employees nearby laughed. Olivia felt her face burn with embarrassment. She wanted to say something. Anything. But she had learned long ago that fighting back only made things worse. So she stayed quiet. As Karen walked away, Olivia took a deep breath and continued cleaning. She repeated the same words she always told herself. Just get through the day. Just get through the day. By evening, the hotel had transformed. Luxury cars lined the entrance. Men in expensive suits stepped onto the red carpet. Women wore sparkling gowns worth more than Olivia earned in a year. The annual charity gala had officially begun. Olivia stayed out of sight, cleaning small areas while guests enjoyed expensive food and music. She watched them from a distance. It felt like looking into another world. A world where people were beautiful, confident, and important. A world where she didn't belong. As she carried a tray of empty glasses toward the kitchen, she heard familiar laughter. Her stomach tightened. Brandon. Her ex-boyfriend. He stood near a group of wealthy guests. 6 months earlier, Brandon had left her for a thinner woman. But before leaving, he had destroyed what little confidence Olivia had left. "You should be grateful I dated you at all," he had told her. The memory still hurt. Now Brandon spotted her and smirked. "Wow," he said loudly. "I thought employees were supposed to look professional." His friends laughed. Olivia tried to walk away. But Brandon wasn't finished. Maybe the hotel should charge her double for the food she steals. More laughter. The words felt like knives. She kept walking. Her hands trembled. Her vision blurred. Then it happened. One guest suddenly stepped backward. The tray slipped from Olivia's hands. Crash! Glasses exploded across the marble floor. The ballroom fell silent. Hundreds of eyes turned toward her. Olivia froze. Her heart dropped. Karen appeared almost instantly. "What did you do?" she shouted. "I'm sorry," Olivia whispered. "Sorry." Karen's voice echoed through the room. This was the final mistake. People stared. Some whispered. Others openly laughed. Olivia wished the floor would swallow her whole. Karen pointed toward the exit. "You're fired." The words hit harder than any insult. Olivia blinked. "What?" "You're fired," Karen repeated loudly. "Leave your badge and get out." Tears filled Olivia's eyes. She had worked there for 4 years. 4 years. Gone in seconds. The guests watched like they were enjoying a show. Brandon smirked. Olivia felt completely broken. She slowly removed her employee badge. The ballroom felt colder with every step she took. Then something strange happened. The large entrance doors opened. Every conversation stopped. The atmosphere changed instantly. A powerful silence spread through the room. Even Karen stopped talking. Olivia turned. A tall man entered surrounded by security. His black suit looked perfectly tailored. His dark hair was neatly styled. His sharp features made him look dangerous. Not handsome. Dangerous. The kind of man people feared. Dante Moretti. One of the richest men in America. Rumors followed him everywhere. Some called him a billionaire businessman. Others whispered that he secretly controlled one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the country. Whatever the truth was, nobody dared challenge him. Dante walked through the ballroom with calm confidence. People stepped aside automatically. His expression remained cold, emotionless, until his eyes landed on Olivia. He stopped. Completely. The room grew silent. Olivia frowned. Why was he staring at her? Then his gaze dropped to the necklace around her neck. A small silver necklace. The only thing she had inherited from her grandmother. Dante's face changed. For the first time, real emotion appeared. Shock. Disbelief. Even anger. His dark eyes locked onto the necklace. The room seemed frozen. One of his bodyguards leaned closer. "Boss." Dante didn't answer. He took a slow step forward. Then another. Straight toward Olivia. Karen nervously smiled. "Mr. Moretti, I apologize for this employee. She's leaving." Silence. His voice was low. Deadly. Karen immediately stopped talking. Dante continued walking. The sound of his shoes echoed across the ballroom. Olivia's heart pounded. Why was he looking at her like that? What was wrong? Dante stopped directly in front of her. His eyes remained fixed on the necklace. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Then he finally looked into Olivia's eyes. "What is your name?" "Olivia," she whispered. His jaw tightened. The room held its breath. Then Dante turned toward the security guards who had been moving toward her. His voice dropped into a lethal whisper. "Nobody touches that woman." The ballroom exploded into shocked whispers. Karen's face turned pale. Brandon's smile disappeared. And Olivia suddenly realized that the worst night of her life had just become something far more dangerous. Because the most feared man in the city was staring at her necklace like he had seen a ghost. The ballroom remained silent after Dante Moretti's words. Nobody touched Olivia. Nobody even moved. Karen looked terrified. Brandon seemed confused. The guests whispered among themselves, trying to understand why the most feared man in the city was protecting a cleaner. Olivia stood frozen. Her heart was beating so fast she could barely breathe. Dante looked at her necklace again. "Come with me," he said calmly. Olivia swallowed nervously. "Me?" "Yes." His tone made it clear that he wasn't asking. A bodyguard stepped forward and guided her through the crowd. The guests watched every step. For the first time in years, nobody was laughing at her. They were staring at her with curiosity instead. That somehow felt even stranger. A few minutes later, Olivia found herself inside a private office on the top floor of the hotel. The room was elegant and quiet. Large windows overlooked the city lights. Dante stood near the glass, his hands in his pockets. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, he turned around. "Where did you get that necklace?" Olivia touched the silver pendant around her neck. "My grandmother gave it to me." Dante's eyes narrowed. "Before she died?" "Yes." "What did she tell you about it?" Olivia shook her head. "Nothing." His expression darkened. "Nothing. She only said it was important and that I should never sell it." Dante stared at her for several seconds. It looked like he was thinking about something very serious. Then he walked closer. Olivia noticed how tall he was. How powerful he seemed. There was something dangerous about him. Yet strangely, she didn't feel afraid. Not completely. "My mother had a necklace exactly like that," Dante said quietly. Olivia blinked. "What?" "It disappeared over 20 years ago." She looked down at the pendant. The information made no sense. "Are you saying this belongs to your family?" "I don't know." His voice remained calm. "But I intend to find out." Olivia sat down slowly. Everything felt unreal. Only an hour ago she had been fired. Now she was sitting alone with Dante Moretti. The man everyone feared. The man who seemed interested in her necklace. Dante studied her face. "You didn't know any of this?" It wasn't a question. "No." For the first time, his expression softened slightly. "Then none of this is your fault." Those simple words surprised her. Nobody had spoken kindly to her all evening. Maybe not for a very long time. A knock interrupted them. One of Dante's assistants entered. "Sir, your car is ready." Dante nodded. Then he looked at Olivia. "You will not return home tonight." Her eyes widened. "What? The people who own this hotel have already made enemies of you." Olivia laughed nervously. "I'm just a cleaner." "Not anymore." The certainty in his voice made her stomach flutter. Dante turned toward his assistant. "Arrange a suite for Miss Hart." "Of course, sir." Olivia quickly stood. "Wait. I can't afford a suite." "You are not paying for it." "But—" "Olivia." His deep voice stopped her. "You are under my protection now." The words echoed inside her mind. Under my protection. Nobody had ever protected her before. Not her ex-boyfriend. Not her boss. Not even her friends. The feeling was strange. And comforting. The next morning, Olivia woke up in the most beautiful room she had ever seen. Sunlight streamed through the windows. The bed felt softer than anything she had ever slept on. For a few moments she wondered if everything had been a dream. Then she noticed several shopping bags near the couch. A note rested on top. "For tonight. Diem." Confused, Olivia opened the bags. Inside were elegant clothes, beautiful shoes, jewelry, and a stunning emerald green velvet dress. She stared at it in disbelief. The rich fabric shimmered under the sunlight. It looked like something a queen would wear. There was no way it could be meant for her. Hours later, a professional stylist arrived. Then a makeup artist. Then a hair specialist. Every time Olivia protested, they simply smiled. Mr. Moretti's instructions. By evening, she barely recognized herself. Her hair flowed in soft waves. Her makeup highlighted her natural beauty. The emerald dress hugged her curves perfectly instead of hiding them. For the first time in years, she didn't feel ashamed of her body. She felt beautiful. A soft knock came at the door. When she opened it, Dante stood outside. He wore a black suit that looked worth a fortune. For a moment, he simply looked at her. Then his eyes darkened. Not with anger. With admiration. "You look stunning." Olivia felt her cheeks warm. "No one has ever said that to me before." His jaw tightened. "Then the people around you were blind." The words made her smile. A real smile. One she hadn't felt in months. Later that evening, they arrived at another luxury event. This one was attended by politicians, celebrities, and billionaires. The moment Olivia entered beside Dante, the room fell silent. People turned. Whispers spread. Shock appeared on countless faces. Among the crowd, Olivia recognized Karen. Her former supervisor looked completely stunned. Nearby stood Brandon. His drink nearly slipped from his hand. The same people who had laughed at her yesterday were now staring in disbelief. Dante noticed their reactions. A cold smile appeared on his face. He placed a protective hand against Olivia's back. Then he guided her toward the center of the room. The crowd parted instantly. Every powerful person present watched them. Olivia's nervousness returned. "Dante," she whispered. "What is happening?" His eyes swept across the room. "They are learning a lesson." "What lesson?" His voice lowered into a calm, dangerous murmur. That the woman they treated like she was worthless is more important than any of them realize. Before Olivia could respond, several powerful guests approached. They greeted Dante respectfully. Then they greeted her. As if she belonged there. As if she mattered. Across the room, Brandon's face filled with jealousy. Karen looked terrified. And high above the crowd, hidden on a balcony, an unknown man watched Olivia's necklace with growing alarm. Because unlike Olivia, he knew exactly what that necklace meant. And he was willing to kill to get it back. The mysterious man on the balcony disappeared before anyone noticed him. But Dante's security team had already seen him. The next morning, one of Dante's trusted men handed him a report. "We couldn't identify him yet," the bodyguard said. Dante looked at the photograph. The man's face was hidden beneath a hat. "Find him," Dante said calmly. "Yes, boss." Meanwhile, Olivia was sitting in the hotel's restaurant, drinking coffee. Her life had changed so quickly that she still couldn't understand it. Just a few days ago she had been cleaning floors. Now people opened doors for her. They smiled at her. They treated her with respect. Part of her enjoyed it. Another part wondered if it would suddenly disappear. Dante entered the restaurant. Several people immediately stood to greet him. He ignored them and walked directly to Olivia. "Good morning." She smiled. "Good morning." A waiter instantly appeared. Dante ordered breakfast without even looking at the menu. The staff rushed to obey. Olivia noticed how everyone reacted around him. The room seemed to belong to him. "You still look worried," Dante said. Olivia looked down. "I keep waiting to wake up." A small smile touched his lips. "This is real." She nodded slowly. Before she could answer, her phone suddenly vibrated. The screen showed a familiar name. Brandon. Her smile disappeared. Dante noticed immediately. "Who is it?" "My ex." Dante's expression became cold. "Answer it." Olivia hesitated but finally accepted the call. "Hello." Brandon's voice sounded unusually friendly. "Olivia. I've been trying to reach you." She frowned. He had ignored her for months. Now suddenly he wanted to talk. "What do you want? Come on. Do we have to be enemies?" Olivia almost laughed. "You humiliated me. I made mistakes." His voice softened. "I miss you." Dante silently watched her. Olivia knew Brandon wasn't being honest. Not after everything he had done. "Goodbye, Brandon." She ended the call. A moment later another message arrived. Then another. Then another. Brandon was desperate. Dante leaned back in his chair. "He wants something." "I know." "And he's afraid." Olivia frowned. "Afraid of what?" A dangerous look appeared in Dante's eyes. "Afraid of losing everything." Later that afternoon, Brandon learned exactly how much he had to fear. His small investment company suddenly lost 3 major clients. A bank suspended one of his business accounts. Several contracts were cancelled. At first, Brandon believed it was bad luck. Then things became worse. A financial audit was launched. Former partners stopped returning his calls. People who once respected him suddenly avoided him. Panic slowly began replacing his confidence. That evening, Brandon stormed into his office. "What is happening?" he shouted. Nobody answered. His employees looked terrified. One secretary finally spoke. "People are saying Dante Moretti is targeting us." The color drained from Brandon's face. He immediately understood. This wasn't bad luck. This was war. Back at the hotel, Olivia remained unaware of most of it. She spent her time helping at a children's charity supported by Dante. The children loved her. For the first time in years, she felt useful, important, happy. As she helped a young girl paint a picture, Dante watched from across the room. One of his men approached quietly. "Boss." Dante looked up. "We found information about Brandon." "Tell me." The bodyguard handed over a file. Dante opened it. His eyes darkened. The report contained evidence of fraud, stolen money, and illegal business deals. But something else caught his attention. A single photograph. Dante stared at it. Then read the name written underneath. His expression instantly changed. "Impossible." The bodyguard frowned. "What is it?" Dante closed the file. "Leave us." The man immediately obeyed. Across the room, Olivia laughed as one of the children accidentally covered her hands in paint. The sight softened Dante's expression for a moment. Then he looked down at the file again. The photograph showed Brandon standing beside an older man. A man connected to the disappearance of Dante's mother decades ago. A man connected to the necklace. For years, Dante had searched for clues. And now one had appeared through Olivia. That could not be a coincidence. Late that night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She walked onto the balcony outside her suite. The city lights sparkled below. The cool air felt refreshing. She touched the necklace around her neck. Ever since meeting Dante, questions filled her mind. Who had her grandmother really been? Why was this necklace so important? And why did it seem connected to powerful and dangerous people? A sound suddenly came from the shadows. Olivia froze. Someone was standing near the far end of the balcony. A man dressed in black. She couldn't see his face. Fear rushed through her body. The stranger took one step forward. Then another. His eyes locked onto her necklace. "Give it to me," he said. Olivia backed away. "What?" "The necklace." His voice sounded desperate. Dangerous. Olivia turned to run. But before she could move, another figure appeared behind the stranger. Dante. His face looked colder than she had ever seen. The stranger realized his mistake immediately. Slowly, he turned around. Dante's voice dropped into a deadly whisper. "I've been looking for you." The man's face filled with terror. Because he suddenly understood something horrifying. He hadn't walked into a trap. He had walked directly into the hands of the most dangerous man in New York. And Dante finally had the answers he had been hunting for over 20 years. The man on the balcony never got the chance to run. Within seconds, Dante's security team surrounded him. The stranger looked from one guard to another. His face was pale. He knew there was no escape. Olivia stood behind Dante, confused and frightened. "What is happening?" she asked. Dante kept his eyes on the stranger. "You're about to learn why that necklace is important." The man swallowed nervously. "I don't know anything." Dante laughed softly. It was not a friendly laugh. It was the kind of laugh that made people nervous. "That's a mistake," Dante said. "I know exactly who you are." The stranger remained silent. Dante took one step closer. "You worked for Victor Kane." The man's eyes widened. That was all the confirmation Dante needed. Olivia noticed the reaction immediately. "Who is Victor Kane?" she asked. Dante turned toward her. "A very dangerous man." The stranger suddenly spoke. "You don't understand." Dante's expression hardened. "Then explain." The man looked around nervously, as if he feared someone might be listening. Finally, he lowered his head. "Victor has been searching for that necklace for years." Olivia instinctively grabbed the pendant around her neck. "Why?" The man shook his head. "I don't know everything. I only know he wants it badly." Dante studied him carefully. Then he nodded toward his guards. "Take him." The stranger was dragged away. Before disappearing, he looked directly at Olivia. His eyes filled with pity. "You're in danger." Those words stayed in Olivia's mind long after he was gone. The next few days became strangely quiet. Too quiet. Dante seemed calm, relaxed. But Olivia could tell he was planning something. Every phone call, every meeting, every visitor, everything felt connected to a larger plan. One evening, she finally asked him, "What are you doing?" Dante looked up from a document. "Preparing." "For what?" A cold smile appeared on his face. "Justice." Meanwhile, Brandon's situation continued getting worse. His company was falling apart. His debts were growing. His friends had disappeared. The people who once admired him now avoided him. He felt trapped. Then an opportunity appeared. A powerful businessman named Victor Kane invited him to a private meeting. Brandon immediately accepted. Inside a luxurious office, Victor sat behind a large desk. His silver hair and expensive suit made him look respectable. But his eyes were cold. Very cold. Brandon quickly explained his problems. Victor listened quietly. When Brandon finished, Victor smiled. "I can help you." Relief flooded Brandon's face. "Really?" "Of course." Victor leaned forward. "But first, I need something." "What?" Victor placed a photograph on the desk. Olivia, wearing the emerald dress, standing beside Dante. Brandon frowned. "Huh. I want information. Brandon hesitated. Then agreed one. He told Victor everything he knew. Every detail. Every weakness. Every memory. Victor listened carefully. When the meeting ended, Brandon believed his problems were solved. He had no idea he had just become part of Dante's trap. A week later, invitations arrived for one of the biggest charity galas in the city. Politicians, business leaders, celebrities, everyone important would attend. Victor received an invitation. Brandon received one too. Both men eagerly accepted. The night finally arrived. The ballroom was filled with wealth and power. Crystal lights sparkled overhead. Music played softly. Guests laughed and drank expensive wine. Victor walked confidently through the crowd. Brandon followed close behind. They both believed they were winning. Neither realized they had already lost. High above the ballroom, hidden cameras recorded everything. Federal investigators watched from a nearby room. Financial crime specialists reviewed evidence. And Dante watched it all unfold. Olivia stood beside him. She wore another beautiful velvet gown. People greeted her warmly. But she could sense something unusual. Something big was about to happen. Dante, she whispered. What are you planning? He glanced at her. Watch. Suddenly the lights dimmed. Conversations stopped. A giant screen lowered from the ceiling. Guests exchanged confused looks. Victor's confident smile faded. Brandon looked nervous. Then the screen came to life. Documents appeared. Bank records. Wire transfers. Secret contracts. Evidence of fraud. Money laundering. Bribery. The room exploded with shocked whispers. Victor jumped to his feet. This is a lie. Nobody believed him. More evidence appeared. Then photographs. Then recorded conversations. The truth became impossible to deny. Brandon stared at the screen in horror. His face turned white. Every secret he had hidden was being exposed. Every crime. Every betrayal. Everything. The ballroom that once admired him now looked at him with disgust. Then another surprise arrived. Several federal agents entered through the main doors. The room instantly fell silent. Victor looked toward the exits. Too late. Agents surrounded him. Brandon tried backing away. An agent grabbed his arm. No. Brandon's voice shook. You don't understand. The agent remained expressionless. You have the right to remain silent. Panic consumed Brandon. His entire world was collapsing. As guests watched, he turned and spotted Olivia. She stood beside Dante. Calm. Confident. Beautiful. Everything Brandon once mocked. Everything he could never have. The realization destroyed him. Olivia simply looked back at him. For the first time, she felt no pain. No sadness. No shame. Only peace. As agents escorted Victor away, he suddenly stopped. A strange smile appeared on his face. Then he looked directly at Olivia. You think you've won. The room became silent. Victor laughed. A dark, chilling laugh. You still don't know who you really are. Olivia froze. What? Victor's eyes locked onto the necklace. The truth isn't buried in that necklace. His smile grew wider. It's buried in your family. Then he looked at Dante. And the person who betrayed your mother is much closer than you think. For the first time, genuine shock appeared on Dante's face. Because Victor had just revealed something impossible. The enemy they had been hunting for years wasn't outside their circle. The real mastermind was someone Dante trusted. The ride back from the gala was silent. Victor Kane's final words echoed inside Olivia's mind. The real mastermind was someone Dante trusted. She looked across the car at Dante. His expression was calm. But she could see the tension in his eyes. For the first time since they had met, he looked genuinely hurt. Do you know who Victor was talking about? Olivia finally asked. Dante stared out the window for several seconds. Then he nodded. There is one person. Olivia's stomach tightened. Who? My uncle. The answer shocked her. Dante slowly looked at the necklace around her neck. For years, I believed he helped protect my family after my mother's disappearance. His jaw tightened. But now everything makes sense. The next morning, Dante began searching through old records. Boxes of documents filled an entire room. Financial records. Family letters. Photographs. Olivia helped him examine everything. Hour after hour. Day after day. Then they found it. A faded photograph. Olivia's hands trembled as she stared at it. The woman in the picture looked exactly like her grandmother. Standing beside Dante's mother. Smiling. Friends. Very close friends. Olivia looked up. Dante. I know. His voice was quiet. For the first time, they finally understood the truth. Years ago, Dante's mother and Olivia's grandmother had uncovered a criminal operation involving powerful people. They planned to expose it. Before they could, someone betrayed them. That betrayal led to disappearances, stolen fortunes, and years of lies. The person responsible had been hiding in plain sight. Dante's uncle. The man everyone trusted. The man who had secretly controlled everything. Including Victor Kane. A few days later, Dante arranged a private meeting. His uncle arrived confidently. He believed he was meeting family. Instead, he walked into a room filled with evidence. Photographs. Documents. Witness statements. Financial records. His smile disappeared immediately. For several moments nobody spoke. Then Dante pushed a folder across the table. It's over. The older man opened it. The color drained from his face. You don't understand. Dante's eyes became ice cold. No. I finally understand everything. The old man tried denying it. Then he tried bargaining. Then he became angry. But nothing worked. The evidence was overwhelming. For years he had hidden behind wealth and influence. Now the truth stood exposed. Authorities moved quickly. His companies were investigated. His accounts were frozen. His partners abandoned him. The empire he had spent decades building collapsed within weeks. The man who once controlled everyone lost everything. And this time, nobody came to save him. When the final investigation ended, Olivia felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The mystery was finally solved. The necklace was no longer a symbol of fear. It was proof that her grandmother had been brave. A woman who had fought for the truth. A woman Olivia could be proud of. One evening, Dante invited Olivia to a special event. She expected another charity gala. Instead, she found herself standing inside a beautiful garden illuminated by thousands of lights. Music floated through the air. Flowers surrounded them. Everything looked magical. Olivia turned toward him. What is this? Dante smiled. A real smile. One she rarely saw. A celebration. For what? For you. Her eyes widened. Me. He nodded. Months earlier, she had been cleaning floors while people mocked her. Now hundreds of guests had gathered to honor her work with children's charities and community programs. The same city that once ignored her now respected her. People applauded as she entered. Many approached to thank her. Others praised her kindness. Olivia could hardly believe it. Then she noticed familiar faces. Karen stood among the crowd. So did several former co-workers. They looked embarrassed. Ashamed. Karen slowly approached. I owe you an apology. Olivia stared at her. Months ago she had dreamed about hearing those words. Now they no longer mattered. It's okay, Olivia said softly. And surprisingly, she meant it. The anger was gone. The pain was gone. She had moved beyond it. Later that evening, Dante guided her onto a large stage. The crowd became quiet. Olivia's heart raced. Dante. He gently took her hand. Then he faced the audience. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Dante finally broke the silence. There was a time when many people in this city overlooked Olivia Hart. The crowd listened carefully. They judged her without knowing her. His voice remained steady. They underestimated her strength. Olivia felt tears forming in her eyes. Dante turned toward her. His gaze softened. But I was lucky enough to see the truth. The crowd smiled. Some even wiped away tears. Dante took another step closer. The world spent years making her feel invisible. The garden became completely silent. But I intend to spend the rest of my life making sure everyone sees her. Gasps spread through the audience. Olivia's breath caught. She could hardly believe what she was hearing. Dante reached into his pocket. Then he revealed a small ring. The crowd erupted into cheers. Olivia covered her mouth. Tears rolled down her cheeks. The man who could have chosen anyone in the world had chosen her. Not despite who she was. Because of who she was. "Olivia Hart," he said softly. "Will you marry me?" The answer came instantly. Yes. The crowd exploded with applause. Dante slipped the ring onto her finger. For a moment, the world seemed to disappear. There were no enemies. No secrets. No pain. Only happiness. Only hope. Only love. The woman who had once been mocked for her appearance now stood proudly before the entire city. The cleaner had become a queen. And everyone who had once looked down on her was forced to watch her rise higher than they ever imagined possible. The end. Thank you for reading this story. If you enjoyed Olivia and Dante's journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional romance, revenge, and billionaire love stories.